So one of the big changes coming in Siege X, which releases in Year 10 Season 2, is the brand new complete overhaul of the operator ban system. And I've seen quite some negative reactions to this ban system, and I'll be deadly serious, I truly do not understand the bad reception. I think this is the best ever iteration of operator bans in this game, and it adds another layer of strategy to Rainbow Six Siege. So I don't want to bore you by starting to talk about how the old version or / current version works, because I'm sure you all know how it works, but I do have to just say it a little bit just so you understand the context of what I'm about to say. But if you don't know, currently in Rainbow Six Siege, before Siege X, operator bans all take place at the beginning of the match. Each team gets to ban one attacker and one defender of their choice, and you also have the option to ban nobody. But that means there is the potential to ban 4 total operators, 2 on each side. And these bans last the entirety of the game, regardless of what side you're on. All 4 of these operators will be gone. Ubisoft have entirely scrapped this system and have done a brand new one, which I am very fond of. So at the beginning of round 1, both teams will be able to ban 1 operator. Defenders will be able to ban 1 attacker, and attackers will be able to ban 1 defender. So let's take my clubhouse game from Atlanta as an example. Before round 1 started, my team, who were defending, banned Dokkaebi, and the enemy team, which was Spoit's team, banned Fenrir. Then after that, round 1 would start. A total of 2 operators, 1 attacker, and 1 defender were absent from the round. So round 1 was played, we won the round, and then we move into round 2, where we once again have an option to ban 1 attacker and 1 defender. Now, since we're still on the defending side, we get to pick an attacker to ban. We realized that they were playing Monty very well, so we banned Monty, and they realized we were playing Mirror very well. I was the Mirror player, so that was a compliment. So they banned Mirror. So that meant going into round 2, there were now 4 operators absent from the game: Dokkaebi, Fenrir, Monty, and Mirror. Now, round 2 ends, their team wins, and we move into round 3. This is the final round of this half, because in round 4 we then switch to the attackers, and I'll explain how that works. So at the beginning of round 3 we have yet another ban phase. We decided just to annoy them, so we banned the Ashe, and they banned Kaid because we were doing a Tuberao Kaid setup, so they wanted to eliminate that part. So going into round 3, there is now 6 operators absent: Dokkaebi, Fenrir, Monty, Mirror, Ashe, and Kaid. And when round 3 changes, that is when we swap sides. So we became the attack and they became the defense. And when this happens, all of the bans are wiped clean and we start again. And hopefully this is starting to make a bit more sense for you. So now that we are playing on the attacking side, we now ban defenders. So for round 1, we chose Tuberao because we played Tuberao a little bit and we were kind of scared that they were maybe going to try and do the same thing against us, and they banned Thatcher. So that means going into round 4, which is our first attacking round, there are 2 operators absent from the match: Tuberao and Thatcher. And now you're probably understanding how this goes. We move into round 5. We then get to ban another defender. They then get to ban another attacker. We banned Kaid and they banned Monty. Meaning that going into round 5, Tuberao, Thatcher, Kaid, and Monty were banned. And then finally for round 6, which was match point, we banned Mirror and they banned Maverick. Meaning that going into round 6, Tuberao, Thatcher, Kaid, Monty, Mirror, and Maverick were absent from the game. Now, at this point, Spoit's team won. They won 4-2, so the match was over. I'll be honest, at this current point in time, I'm not actually sure how overtime works. I do know that the bans once again get wiped clean, so you go into overtime with every operator on the board, but I'm not sure if you do bans again for the overtime segment or the bans are just gone. That is something I do need to look into more. But overall, as a system, this is so much better than the current version we have. Because let's say with the current version, Mirror gets banned at the operator ban phase. There's now never a chance that she will ever appear in that match. Regardless of how many times you attack CCTV, how many times you attack Armory, how many times you defend them sites, Mirror will never be an option. But with this new system, let's say you were attacking CCTV on the top floor. Let's say Mirror is in play And let's say the attack does win, but mirror was a really big thing they had to deal with. So next round, the attackers ban mirror, the defenders go basement, and they win basement. Then in round 3, the defenders go back to CCTV. The same bomb site, the attackers won round 1. Well, thanks to this new pick and ban system, you are forced to play a completely different attack and a completely different defense because round 1 only had 2 operators gone. Round 3 has 6 operators gone. In the exact same match, you are creating completely different scenarios and variables which have never been done before. The best way I can explain as to why this is a good thing for the game is comparing it to attacker repick, and trust me, just hear me out. So if you never played Rainbow Six Siege before attacker repick was a thing, which is the ability for attackers to change which operator they are playing before the prep phase is over, it wasn't that great because every attacker had to pick an operator and lock that operator in with no option to change it before they knew what they were attacking. So because you didn't know what you were getting into, this just meant that one-man army operators and hard breachers and operators who statistically would have more of a chance of succeeding were the only operators being picked. And let me elaborate on this a little more. So Maverick, for example, this was an error both when he had grenades and when grenades worked a little bit differently than they did now. And Maverick was by all means a one-man army. He could clear wall denial using the nades by making a Maverick hole through it and everything. Maverick was phenomenal. Not saying he's not good anymore, but this was definitely the peak version of Maverick. Then let's look at Gridlock. I think Gridlock is a great operator, and I'm sure all of you can agree that she is a good operator. Great loadout, useful gadget, she's an all-round great op. But if I put you on Chalet, for example, made you an attacker, and I say you have to pick your operator before you know any of the defenders you're coming up against, and before you know what bomb site they're coming up against as well, because you didn't even know that, you as the attacker had to choose what operator you were playing before you knew anything. You can make a guess which bomb site they were going to go, you can make a guess which operators they were going to pick, but you knew nothing and your selection was final. And now, like I was saying, I love Gridlock as an operator, but if I don't know what bomb site I'm attacking, I don't know what operators I'm coming against, I would rather bring a Maverick because he just has more of a general chance that using a blowtorch on a reinforced wall with grenades is probably going to be more of a reoccurring need than throwing down some track stingers. So before attacker repicked existed, you could never have niche operators. You could never bring these operators that could have a really useful job because there was just other operators who all the time would just have a higher chance of being more useful given all the millions of different circumstances that can happen in Rainbow Six Siege. So when attacker repick came into the game and attackers could learn what defenders they are going against and what site they are going against, it allowed a broader decision to be made when it came to picking operators. So when it comes to this new pick and ban system, I kind of see it as the same way. Of course, right now in the current system, you're most likely to ban operators which you deem the consistently most problematic. So people ban Mira, people ban Fenrir, people ban Kaid if they're trying to go for hatches and breaches and stuff like that. The same operators are constantly being banned without necessarily assessing who the enemies are and how they truly play. So with the new ban system, I feel like it truly does allow you to adapt to the playstyle of your enemies, but it also forces you to play in different ways as well, because if you're showing that you're playing really well on Ace, then they may ban Ace, which is going to force you as a player to adapt. But if you realize that they are playing Jaeger very well, or Warden, and it turns out that those are actually the problematic operators, and not just the generic bans of Fenrir and Mira, you can then ban accordingly with that. I just think this system not only makes every round unique and different, way more than it was before, but I also think it's going to allow more operators to be banned and allow a lot of these operators who are constantly be banned to be banned less, because right now, so many people ban Blackbeard the moment the game starts. With this new system, yes, people may still instantly ban Blackbeard the moment the round starts, because you do have one ban to use immediately before round 1. But let's say you don't. Let's say you don't ban Blackbeard on round 1. Let's say you ban Thermite or something like that. Really shake it up a bit. Then you realize in round 1, Blackbeard wasn't an issue. No one even played him, or the person that did play him didn't really do much. You then leave him unbanned and you ban a different problematic operator in that round, so on and so forth, until you get to the point where Blackbeard wasn't banned once in that entire match. And you actually done bans which were impactful to the match itself, rather than just doing a big brush across the board and saying, I think that operator is going to be problematic, get him out of here. And this is what I mean when I say we are adding another layer of strategy we've never had before. You have to truly assess your enemies. You have to truly assess your own playstyle. And if an operator that you are using gets banned, it does have to actually shake up how you play, and you have to adapt to it. This is Siege at its core. It's all about changing it up in the last moment. It's all about preparing for the unprepared. I think this is going to make the average player more skillful, more aware of the operators they play, and more aware of how they defend and attack. Also, the fact that it allows us to ban a net gain of more operators in a match, with there now being 6 bans by the final round of your split, so round 3 and round 6, whereas in the current version, you'd only ever have a maximum of 4. So I think going into this with Siege X is a perfect time when we have the modernization of maps and then this new ban system, because we are changing the game, but still enough that it is familiar to us old veteran players, and in a way that we can adapt. I'm personally really excited to using this new pick and ban system to sort of throw a wrench into the game, both when it comes to people banning against me and when I'm banning against my enemies. I think it's just significantly more interesting and in-depth than it has been, and I want to hear your thoughts on it because it has been quite divisive in the community. Something I will say is, and this isn't like a bragging thing, I have actually played it on numerous occasions. You guys will have not, because currently the modernized 5v5 isn't accessible until Siege X comes out at this current point in time. So I will say I have actually played it hands-on and like it. So you are allowed to have an opinion without playing it, don't get me wrong. Just keep that in mind. Maybe reserve a lot of opinion to when you actually get to give it a try and how it actually feels in the mode. Because I've played it and I am a massive fan of it. But yeah, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the brand new pick-in ban system in Rainbow Six Siege X, launching alongside Year 10 Season 2 on June 10th. Really interested to hear your thoughts, so be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new. Catch you all later. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.